ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Ararat Baptist Church here in Whitchurch for this Remembrance concert featuring the St Albans Concert Band under their musical director, Gary Barnes. My name is Kerry Stennett, and I will be your compere for the concert. I've lived in Heel Maddock, just across the road from here, then later in Robina, went to school here in Whitchurch, and over the last 10 years or so I've researched and written about the casualties from the parish in a couple of books that I've written. And I also present a programme on Radio Cardiff every Tuesday morning. Could I ask all of you to ensure that you do have your mobile phones, please, either switched off or switched to silent for the duration of the concert. All the proceeds from the ticket sales tonight are being donated to the Royal British Legion Poppy Appeal. And absolutely, I can tell you that tonight you are in for a real treat. So, our concert opened this evening with Shining Sword. This fanfare was composed in tribute to the heroism of the men of the wartime RAF Bomber Command for the occasion of its 60th anniversary commemorations in February 2002 at St Paul's Cathedral. The title refers to the Lancaster bomber. In a letter to the head of Avro after the war, Marshal of the Royal Air Force, Sir Arthur Harris, the Commander-in-Chief of Bomber Command, said of the Lancaster, "I would say this to those who placed that shining sword in our hands. Without your genius and efforts, we could not have prevailed. For I believe that the Lancaster was the greatest single factor in winning the war." So, there we have it. So now, we move on to our next piece of music, and we stay with an RAF theme, and it's a piece of music that was made famous in the movie 633 Squadron, written by Ron Goodwin, and so I hand you back to Gerard for 633 Squadron. stuff indeed there for the 633 Squadron. So, our next piece of music is entitled Code Breakers. And this is composed by Robert Buckley, and it's a piece of music that is in tribute to Bletchley Park and all of the work that was done there by those aptly named Code Breakers. And indeed, it will take you on a journey into the world of intrigue and espionage. And we also will have a video which will feature some of those redoubtable ladies from the Bletchley Park team. So, once again, it's now time to have a little look at the VT, and we will see some of those redoubtable ladies.
Well, I've never discovered what the sort of criteria were for recruiting people. I joined the Wrens as soon as I was 18. Everyone went to an induction course. It was in London. At the end of that, I and 3 other people were just given a rail warrant to Bletchley with no idea what we were coming to at all. We were met at the station, marched up here, came into a room in the mansion, it might even have been this one, where we were told to sign the Official Secrets Act and then taken off to Hut 11.
I longed to do service, war service, but I didn't want to wear a uniform. I had a longing to use my brain to find out what the Germans were about and find some way of helping it towards a defeat.
I was told to go to an interview at this lady, I forget who she is now, at room 47 in Foreign Office in London. Went up the stairs, had a short talk with her. She gave me 2 tickets, or 1 ticket to Bletchley, and to take 2 weeks' supply of clothes, and to go on Saturday or whatever it was, yes, and I went.
Because we knew German and we put this on our applications, we were going to be trained at a secret base in Wimbledon. The first day, as soon as we arrived, we were asked to sign the Official Secrets Act, and we did. And there were dire penalties if you gave anything away, but people were very good in the law, didn't ask us.
The first thing I had to do was to go into the office opposite here and read and sign the Official Secrets Act. I wasn't expecting it, and it's a very large and a very formidable document, very, very serious indeed. And I suddenly realised that I was responsible for keeping everything to myself. Nothing could be talked about outside the office in which I was working. And there was no question about talking about anything that we heard, saw or read until 30 years later when the veil of secrecy was lifted. And that applied to all of us.
absolutely highlights the essential work that was done at Bletchley Park during the Second World War. Now we come to another piece of music, and it's Nimrod, which of course is from the Enigma Variations. And this is an emotional piece of music which has been a staple really for all the services of Remembrance Sunday from down the years. So once again, please sit back and enjoy this rendition of Nimrod from the band. A very emotive piece of music, which I think we've grown up with, really. Okay, the next piece of music is entitled In Flanders Field. Now then, this emotive piece, again, has been performed to widespread critical and popular acclaim, especially with the use of a poppy canon at the climax of the piece. Now, it's based on the poem by Lieutenant Colonel John McCrae, and this emotional work takes the audience on an evocative journey through the famous poppy fields. Now then, before we actually hear the piece of music, our flautist, Natasha Davis, will come forward and she will actually recite that poem by John McCrae, In Flanders Fields.
In Flanders fields, the poppies blow, between the crosses, row on row, that mark our place. and in the sky the larks, still bravely singing, fly, scarce heard amid the guns below. We are the dead. Short days ago we lived, felt dawn, saw sunset glow. Loved and were loved, and now we lie in Flanders fields. Take up our quarrel with the foe. To you from failing hands we throw the torch. Be yours to hold it high. If ye break faith with us who die, we shall not sleep, when poppies grow in Flanders fields.
So, in Flanders Field, and maybe we could just have an extra round of applause, please, for our flautist, Natasha Davis. So, we move on, and we have another piece of music now, which is a well-known piece, which again was composed by Ron Goodwin. We mentioned him earlier on in the first half with regards to the 633 Squadron. And of course, another classic British war movie was The Battle of Britain. and a tune taken from that film. And this time we will hear the Luftwaffe March. So now, we have something a little bit different for our next piece of music. And I wonder how many of you watch The Crown on TV. This next piece of music is the theme from the masterful Netflix series on the British royalty. It's composed by Robert Buckley, and as I say, it may be a tune that you're familiar with, perhaps not. But anyway, please sit back, relax, and enjoy the rendition of The Crown. are shortly coming to the end of the first half. Time go by quickly when you're enjoying yourself. Let me tell you before I announce the next piece, though, that during the interval, light refreshments will be available in the Arc Cafe next door, and if you just need to know how to get there, which I'm sure you shouldn't need to, it's just out through the main doors and around the corner, and that's the way to go. It's a bit like being on an aircraft, isn't it? Yes, the exit doors and so on. And the duty free will be around shortly. Obviously, whilst we have the interval on, let me also remind you that we have our Royal British Legion poppy stall outside, and it would be really, really good if you could visit there and perhaps pick up one or two items ready perhaps for tomorrow for Remembrance Sunday. Okay, so the final piece of music for this first half is the Crown Imperial March. Now then, this world-famous march was written by William Walton and was commissioned for the coronation of King George VI in Westminster Abbey in 1937. The work has been heard at subsequent state occasions in the Abbey, including the coronation of Queen Elizabeth II in 1953 and the wedding of Prince William in 2011. And the arrangement for the concert band this evening was done by J. Bocock, or J. Bocucus, is it? So let's finish our first half with the Crown Imperial